Live. Guys, hello. Hello. How are you? How are you? I hope everyone's okay. No one's live yet, so no one is live. So once somebody comes live, then I'll talk, but you can't hear me. Right? Jesus. Hello. Yes, ma'am. Yes, happy Friday. I'm glad I'm catching you guys early. I know you guys are planning to go out, you party animals. On a Friday night. Oh, man. No going out for me, unfortunately. Let's see how many more people coming in. I'm just getting ready. And I'm sure you guys know by now what the subject matter is going to be about. So I'm happy actually that we're not going to be, hello Nitra, hello. I'm happy we're not going into this Gambia thing, you know. It's nice to, it's refreshing to take the mind of things. Hello Tamara, hello. It's nice to be, yeah. Hi, Memphis, Tennessee, beautiful. Nice. Happy to have you here. I think it's, what's the time over there now? Is it about Memphis, 3 o'clock? 3 in the afternoon? No, I think it's even earlier than that. Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, goodness, I haven't invited anyone. Listen, guys, so, yes. So today we are going to be talking about, well, we're going to be talking about interracial, what? Adopting children of different races, from, you know, I just wanted to just have a, oh, it's noon. Wow. Okay. Still early over there. It's evening here. I wanted to have a talk about this. I wanted to see what your feelings were, whether you were for, perhaps, to a white woman. Actually, I'm going to go a little further than this, actually. So, whether a white woman and a white man can take care of a black child, bring up a black child happily, or whether a white man and a white man can bring up a black child properly. I have seen this. Yeah, welcome to Europe. We have, you are able to have two men adopt a child. And a lot of people, of course, people accept it over here. It's the norm. It's the norm over here. So I wanted to see what your feelings were on that. Hello, Shilsa. Hello. Hi, hello to New Jersey. Hello. How are you? So, guys, I've put the link in the in the comments section. So if you want to join, feel free to do so and give me your opinion on the subject. Should Africans allow Europeans? Should we even allow Europeans to just waltz into our countries like they tried to do in Haiti? Just waltz in there and take whoever they like it's candy off a tree or something. Should we be able to do that? Should they be able to do that? And if not, then what is the solution to it? How can we put tighter restrictions on where our children go? You see, now in Russia, because there was a time here in Europe where two males couldn't adopt a child. A male married couple, like a homosexual married couple here in Europe, they couldn't adopt a child from abroad. But of course, things have changed here, and now they are allowed to do that. So if they are allowed to do it now, then, you know, in Russia, as soon as they implemented these laws in Russia, they banned children from being sent. First, they banned children from being adopted in America. First, they banned children from being adopted in America, and then they just did an overall international ban on children being adopted by other nations. So you cannot adopt a Russian child now. That's banned. Which I think Vladimir Putin did this himself. He must know something. Good evening, Sheka Ibra Ema. Good evening. Good evening to you, sir. It's good to see you. Yeah, so they put these bans on these countries because obviously Vladimir Putin knows something that we don't. Hello, UK in the house. UK in the house. Yeah, it's good to see you, Miss Heslop. Miss Heslop, you're not Shaka Heslops. You're not related to Shaka Heslop, are you? I wonder if you're related to Shaka Heslop, the football player. Anyway, so yeah. Well, there you go. There are no laws at this present moment. In certain countries, you could just go in, like if you're like from England, you can just go in and grab these children. You know what's happening here in the West. You know what's happening here in the West. It's not good. Children are being used for all sorts of crazy things here in the West. Yeah, okay. Children are being used to as I'm going to talk about what children are being used for in Africa, because a lot of them are being used for mining. I'm making a video about that currently. Tanya Metoya, I used to not agree with interracial adoption. My worry is that the child will not be taught their history, culture, and wouldn't be able to prepare that boy or girl for life. You know, there are a lot of children that have been brought up with adoptive parents that weren't of their race that would probably disagree with that. They'll probably say, oh yeah, there's no problem, but deep down inside, I think that when you're young, you don't really feel the need to know, you absolutely know your history, your culture, all that sort of thing. You just exist, don't you? Hello, Terence from Maryland. Hello, shalom. So yeah, it's a crazy one. It's a crazy one because a lot of them, once these children that got brought up by adoptive parents that are of a different race, once they grow a little older, that's when they feel, wow, okay, I definitely need to know more about my own culture. But I think it's an experience that people should enjoy. They should enjoy that experience of finding out about your culture. Hello, Shaza. But listening. Oh, yeah. I wonder what are you cooking, Shaza? What are you cooking? Yeah, I mean, we've seen this with, sorry, Nanette Taylor. We've seen this with who? Is it Charlize Theron? Well, what's going on with that? You know, I don't mind adults being able to just do whatever they want. We live in a world now where people are running around telling other people what to do, and then these people are doing whatever they want to do. You understand? I don't think that we should have, you know, you should, as long as you're not hurting children, you should be able to do whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting children. You know, live your life. It doesn't matter. But I don't think that putting that on children, no, man, all you're going to do is you're going to make them even more confused. No. Talk truth with Shawnee. Okay, no. How will our children ever truly learn our culture and what we go through as a people if we don't teach them ourselves? Yes, exactly. Unless you live it, you will never be able to give it accurate. Yeah, to give it accurate testimony of it. That's very true. But not everybody's in that situation. Some people are in a situation where they are adopted. You know, they can't help it. Hello, Tobo Lamaka. How can you join the live? Yes. Just click the link. If you want to join in, feel free. Paste, there you go. Feel free just to click the link if you want to join in. Give you to. Hey, hello, K&K squad. Which one? Which one of the K's are here? We have K&K squad in the house. Terence Manuel, you know, Tanya, I'm going to disagree. I personally know of a Jewish couple who adopted 2 black kids. The kids are fine. They are both attending top 25 universities. Yeah, but that doesn't, you know, or because they go to sort of like a very good university, does that mean that they are totally fine with their culture and with their background, with their history? Are they happy with it? You don't know. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Kevin. So does that mean, I hope your wife is okay, by the way, Kevin. Are you back in the States now? But I see how, yeah, Sandra Bullock is raising her 2 kids in New Orleans and has them. Ah, I do have a lot to say about your wife and you. I think I've written 2 videos about you. I think. Was it 2 or 1? Can't remember. Yes, they are. I know this, kids. Sandra Bullock is raising her 2 kids in New Orleans and has them in education. Ah, wow. That is really good. So that's, you know, Sandra Bullock is doing very well there. Yeah, that's very good. I'm very happy to hear that, Kevin. Your experience, I saw your experience, not the last video, the videos before when you came into the airport. That is a big time shame. And I'm not sure, did you watch my videos, by the way? It'd be interesting to see if you watched the videos. I feel like I gave a fair interpretation of what happened, Kevin. But do they know who they are, their African identity? So we measure success due to attending. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a typically Western thing to do. Oh, are you successful? Well, do I have money? Did I go to a top university? Oh, do I have a title in front of my name? No, that isn't what success is. Success is when you are absolutely satisfied with your life, when you are happy. A lot of millionaires, billionaires are not happy. So I'm doing a lot of research into George Soros right now at this moment. George Soros went depressed. He was worth $10 billion. A lot of people think money buys you happiness. But George Soros, there are people out there who are not happy. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It does not make you happy. But it does give you freedom. It does give you freedom. Yeah. It would be nice. But I don't mind. Let's leave it for a bit, Tobo. Yeah, when people are comfortable, then they can come in, join in, have a laugh. But do they know who they are, their African identity? So we measure, do you know, I haven't banned my children from listening to, who's this? Success, wealth is about inner peace and happiness. Yes, that is true, Shaza. That's what I think. Started in Ivory Coast before immigrating. I didn't know that. Really? Did George Soros go to the Ivory Coast before going to the USA? Of course, that would have been back in the 80s? Because I think he left Hungary in the 70s or 80s. Sandra's adoption offers their birth mother to still see their children. She adopted them in NO, North. What's NO? That's North. Anyway, New Orleans. Sorry, and felt it was important to keep them there for their cultural reason. Wow, Sandra Bullock is really a nice lady. She seems really nice. I'd rather be poor and at peace than have a bag of money and be in turmoil. Trust me, I have been there, Shaza. I have been there, and I've seen people. I've seen people with a lot of money that are just not happy. Hey, look at all these stars, these Hollywood stars who end up killing themselves, overdosing and stuff. Why are they doing it? Who knows? A lot of black people don't know their culture. This is true, actually. A lot of black people don't know their culture and identity, and are with black parents that even refuse to learn African culture. I'm not saying I am for it, but it just needs to be. Yeah, that's very true, Angel. There are a lot of black parents who just. But do you know what? Do they need to teach it? Do they need to teach it? I mean, if you grow up. Because with a lot of African Americans, the ethnicity itself as an ethnicity, I mean, you don't have to teach yourself about your culture. You live it, right? You live in the country, you live amongst your people, especially in the United States where I'm not sure how it is outside New York City, but inside New York City, it was one of the most segregated places I've ever been to. Ever. It was I've never experienced anything like that, going to a place and only seeing one certain type of people. I'm sure it's different now. I'm hoping it's different now anyway, but it was really weird. So yeah, I mean, studies have shown that children who are raised out at some point in their life suffer an identity and cultural crisis. Yeah, but I'm not sure how bad that crisis is, and tend to identify with the culture that raised them, losing their true identity. Yeah, I mean, that's true as well. But the thing is, especially if you are with a white parents and you're a black child, you can't always fully. You're not going to be accepted by their community 100%. You'll always feel at some point, you will always feel kind of like an outsider, right? You're always going to feel a little bit like an outsider. So part of you is always going to want to search, especially when you're a little older, a little bit more mature, and you can just be a bit more free. You feel stronger and more secure in the way you approach things, you know. So yeah, I think as these children grow older, they learn to enjoy the process of finding out about their cultures. Let's have a look. Oh goodness, what happened there? Oh gosh, it just jumped for some reason. Money does not buy you happiness, but I can tell you being broke will make... Yes, being broke will make you unhappy, definitely. Especially if you're in the wrong place. Yeah, there you go. This is what I'm talking about, Tanya. What's happening? What are these kids going through? You know, there are people out there that specifically go after adopting children for one disgusting reason. Really? I mean, what's his name? Guys, what's the name of that movie producer, director? Is it Woody Harrelson? Remember Woody Harrelson? He adopted, I think she was Vietnamese, adopted a Vietnamese child with his wife. Then as soon as that child grew up to about, what, 14, 15 years old, he was like, yeah, I'm having that. Divorced his wife. Yeah, you can't, I don't trust the people in the West. For not all of them. You can't put a big blanket over them. But like Muhammad Ali said, okay, because there is 5 or 10% of you that are totally fine, that are really cool, what am I supposed to do? Ignore the other 90%? You can't do that. You can't do that. There are too many people over here that have their own devious sort of agendas. Look at Madonna and Charlize Theron. Can't stand when they start their... Yeah, exactly. I hate it too. I really do. I don't like it. I don't think it's right for children to have to go through, you know, sticking dresses on. Oh yeah, I felt like it. What does happiness mean? Some slaves were said to be happy, but I bet they made other slaves around them, yeah, life miserable. Some forms of happiness can have a negative effect on others. Wow, that's pretty deep, Don. That's a pretty deep way of looking at it. Would you call it happiness though? Could you call it happiness, or is it just survival? So a lot of those slaves were just really focused on surviving and taking it day by day. That's our people that are in that situation, living that life for generation after generation. You know, that's, for me, yeah, can't even think about that. Struggle to think about that. The majority of Africans do not know who they are. Nowadays, knowing yourself is a must to have a happy life. I think that's true as well. But when you know yourself, your life becomes so much better. You just do, because you can relate to people who are in the same position as you are, who have the same cultural identity, you know? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Marilyn Monroe, Whitney Houston, beautiful with money. Yeah, Woody Allen. Yeah, married his own, well, yeah, adopted child. Really? Brad Pitt and Angelina adopted a son and got into a physical altercation. Why did that happen, Tanya? Do you know why that happened? Yeah, I think that's also true talk and truth. Only we can teach our children the survival tactics. Okay, Fante, I'm coming. I'm going to bring you in now. Okay, but you're going to have to turn your camera on. Come on. Yeah. So Bro, what are you even here for? What's going on? Ah, God of Jacob, ADOS. Oh, oh, yeah. What about ADOS? False sense of happiness. A false sense of happiness due to not having an opportunity to mature in their rightful nature. Yeah, that's true. That's true. What happened to the healing? Let's talk and come together. Live stream. Yeah, that's true. This is what we need to do. We need to heal. This is what this live stream is about. It's about healing, not about division. Brad was drunk, cursing at his wife, and the boy had had enough of his disrespect towards the mom. Wow, I had no idea. Wow, that's crazy. Hello, Gail. I agree with whoever just said that. No matter where we are in the world, you will always have them that will sell out our people. The traders were happy slaves only. Do you know what? You gotta remember. I think what happened in Africa to us has been simple. You know, it's been made to look simple, but it wasn't. It's a lot more convoluted than what we have learned. Okay. When I looked at my history was very complicated to the point in which I couldn't really go that far back in my history to find out about where my forefathers really came from. You know, I could get back to the point of the Akan region, which sort of straddles Ghana, Benin, and the Ivory Coast at that time. Remember, those countries didn't exist at that time, right? They were kingdoms or chiefdoms, right? Many chiefdoms. So, yes, guys, please, like. I'm not sure what that does, but please feel free to like. Yeah. You can't hear me? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Lamont. Okay, my family is moving to Gambia in January. All we want to do is unplug from America and the generational trauma. We know this will be hard. Learning the culture and the Wolof are the two top priorities. But remember, guys, when you move there, right, the people there are gold, right? The people there are gold. I know this, right? So you are not going to have a problem with the actual people in most cases. Obviously, I can't speak for everyone, but there are going to be people in the Gambia who are, I don't know, they're survivors too, but they've just got something different about them. I told you the story of what happened when I went there with the kid with the hat. I'm not sure if you remember that story, but basically I went to town. I went to Serekunda Market, and I was there, and I saw this kid, and he wasn't dressed. He wasn't dressed with like, you know, he was dressed like he was a poor kid, but he had a ton of these hats with him, and he was selling these hats. And he came up to me and he offered me one of those hats. I was like, "Nah, you're okay, mate. You're okay." You know what I mean? And then I felt really guilty afterwards, and I was like, "Look at this shirt. It's a bit ripped." Oh yeah, I'm gonna offer him a shirt. I'm gonna bring him one of my football tops. I had a really nice Roberto Kappa Tottenham football top at the time. So I said, I'm going to give him this football top. I'm going to give it to him. And the next day I came back to give him this football top. And I said, here, you can have this for free. And the kid just looked at me. He was like, he wouldn't accept it. did not accept charity, gave me a hat. So he swapped it for the hat, but he did not want to just take the top. So if you can imagine, that's the type of kind of people you're going to be dealing with. Yes. Congratulations. Yes. Congratulations. Lots of diasporans claim West Africans sold them. That's very true. I don't know where that comes from. Not true. The Africans were enslaved by the Arabs before the Europeans got there. Well, yeah, but you got to remember the continent is massive, right? So what happened on the East Coast? So you're talking from Kenya all the way down to parts of South Africa, and oh gosh, my geography is buggered up here. Where's Zanzibar, guys? Where's Zanzibar? Tanzania, that's the one. So yeah, the Arab slave trade was in full swing. But what were they doing with them? Because a lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, the Arabs took way more Africans than what the Westerners did." But I don't believe that. Why were they using them for? For what? To build what? They didn't build anything. There was nothing but dirt in Saudi Arabia until lately, until the 1970s. Sand dunes. So I don't understand what because they can't grow anything there either. So what were they being used for? I don't know. It sounds funny. Yeah, Tanzania. Thank you. I'm sorry. This is really slow. A lot of Africans ballyhoo Africa while sheltering in their other countries. Yeah, a lot of Africans do. A lot of Africans do. You would be surprised. You would be very surprised. K&K, welcome back. It was wise to come back at this time. May God bless your family. Write a book. There you go. If Kevin is still here, yeah. Write a book. Do something with it, But I hope you come back and that you have a better experience. I think it was really brave for you to travel there with your entire family during this time. Very brave thing to do. They took land southern to Iran, India. Okay, servants, southern Iran, India. Okay, they had servants, but they had servants there already. At that time, especially in the 1800s. Even now, you can go to India and have a servant, get a servant, have a kid working for you in servitude. You can have that. So they had that already. So what were they doing with the slaves from Africa in the Middle East? I don't know. Something sounds. I don't know. Anyway, there is a history in Australia of European adopting Aboriginal children much of the time by force, and once they reach maturity, they breed with them to create a mixed race people. Yes, this did happen. A lot of things happened in Australia that it's heart-wrenching, man. It really is, and it really gets me angry. It really does. Especially what happened with Tasmania. So what happened with Tasmania is you have a small island. I say it's small. It's actually the size of New York State. But it's called Tasmania. It's in the southeast of the country. And there was an entire population of Tasmanian native people living there. And boy, those British just came there and wiped every single one of them out. Every last one. Not one left today to tell the story. What is wrong with mixed race people? Getting sick of seeing racist stuff. Okay, sorry. I'm going to read this out loud so people can hear this. What is wrong, Ali Jones? Okay, so this is from Ali Jones. What is wrong with mixed race people? Getting sick of seeing this racist stuff on black channels. You love who you love. End of. Yeah, well, that is true. That is true. That is true. Africans sold ADOS. Blacks tell us how we look. It doesn't tell us who we are. I really wish, God of Jacob, I really wish that it was that simple. But I don't know. I think you look perhaps a little younger than what I am, and I can tell you this. Perhaps about the same age. I can tell you this: the world doesn't work like that. I really wish it was that simple. It wasn't just blacks on blacks. It was just. I mean, look at World War II, 70 years ago. What were the Europeans doing to each other 70 years ago? When I was just doing some research on this George Soros video that I'm making at this moment. Oh my gosh, what they were doing to the same people. I mean, you can't look at it by their color. You can't look at it by their color. It was just they saw people and started killing each other because of their ethnicity, not because of their color. There were white people that we would today call white people, just murdering whole families because they worshipped a different sort of God, or because they came from a different border country. It's crazy what they were doing. It's not simple, because we had the same thing in Africa. We had our own chiefdoms. We had tribes that were at war with each other, like civil wars within these tribes. That's how most Jamaicans got to Jamaica. Okay, so we have a lot of Akan tribal people in Jamaica. Those were the first ones to make it to Jamaica. And most of them were being caught by the, oh my gosh, the Fante. Ashanti were the ones that were capturing the Fante, because the Ashanti in that part of the Gold Coast were a very, very powerful clan inside the Akan tribe. So it's a lot more complicated than, oh, blacks sold us blacks and we went there. It just doesn't go like that. I really wish it was. We know this now because, you know, we have hindsight. We have the benefit of hindsight, but they didn't. The Arabs used them in the same way that the Portuguese and other Europeans did. Finding oil and work in the oil fields was the name of the game. Oh, really? Really? Oil? I'm sure they had oil, but... How do you explain the most West Africans are Muslim? How do you explain that most West Africans are Muslim? Is that I didn't know that most West Africans were Muslim. But I would say it was due to the spread of Islam from the East. I don't know much about this. I have seen the divide. I've seen the way Christianity and Islam has sort of run rampant through the African continent. You know, it was a lot of people. I've had people tell me that Christianity was from Africa. Yeah, I don't know how true that is. I'm going to read some of these. God of Jacob. What books have you read on this subject? Oh, what? Afia, exactly. God of Jacob, it is not that simple. Just because you have black skin does not mean we all should think the same. That's bullcrap. Yeah. Ask ADOS to prove they don't have slave traders in there. And oh wow, I'm going to have to throw that one at you, God of Jacob. We're going to have to throw that one at you, God of Jacob. How do you prove that you don't have slave traders in your blood? Because slave traders came from both sides of the divide. A lot of the Ashanti tribe were captured after they were slavers and became the slaves. They were captured by the British and sent over to Jamaica as well. And this is why I say it's so complicated. You can't. It wasn't just them Africans over there. They sold us that Kofi over there. Kofi, the fisherman. The fisherman that's there, who's earning $1 a day, he sold us. No, he bloody didn't. They did not sell. It's a lot more. Yeah, complicated. Yes, Tanya, I totally agree. Africa gives peace like nowhere else I've ever been. Classics, Sharon Morris. Classic stories of man's inhumanity to man. Sorry. To man. Me, I'm a black American, so-called half of my ancestry is Native American. I have 15 grandchildren. Wow, 15 grandchildren. Everyone is mixed background from Nicaragua to Portugal. Wow, that's incredible, Sharon. Sharon Morris there. Sorry, guys, I'm just going back and reading some of your comments. I'm just really slow. West Africans are Muslims because West Africa was occupied by the Arabs. Yes. But now they have the Berbers, right, which are like an admix of what Europeans would call sub-Saharan African, and you got Arabs. So it's sort of like a mix between the two, right, with the Berbers. They're not Arabs, but they're not sort of what we would call black people either. There's something in between. Most Jamaicans are descendants of the Ashanti. Yes, Ashanti Kingdom. That's true. That's true. I'm not sure if they're Ashanti. Because the Ashanti Kingdom was the largest, wasn't it, and the most powerful at the time. So probably. But like I said, it's so convoluted, this story, because the Ashanti used to assimilate other tribes within, not just within the Akan tribe, but within other tribes as well. So this is why I always find these sort of genetic, the genetic ancestry kits. I just think, oh, how do they know all this? Who knows? Yes, I believe so. I believe that God of Jacob is ADOS. I know you Africans still think that ADOS mark our names with an X, but we don't. Oh, okay. It's called the Islamic invasion into northern Africa under General Saladin, the servant of Muhammad. Okay. Yes, you are 100% correct. I'm not really mediating this very well. We got off subject. I think it's important we just let it run. I want to let us run and have a bit of freedom in talking. Why not? Let's too many. That's true. Let's have a look. White indentured servants were sent to Jamaica. True. A lot of people didn't know this. German Jamaicans are still there. Irish Jamaicans are still there. It's crazy, actually. Lots of Chinese slaves were sent to Jamaica. Indentured servants, they would call them. They didn't call them slaves because it wasn't really chattel slavery. But yeah, they sent them there. And they're still there. A lot of the Chinese Jamaicans are still there. Terence Manuel says, why are you ADOS people so angry? You hate everyone. Talk to you with Shawnee, yeah. Most Jamaicans are actually descendants of Nigerians. Yeah, but it's kind of difficult, that one is, Kevin, because Nigeria didn't exist. Nigeria is like, as a chiefdom, was much smaller, wasn't it? I believe it was much smaller before the I call them the unfortunates. Before the unfortunates came down and yeah, chopped up the whole of Africa. Before they came down and did that, we had our own chiefdoms. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try and read more of these. 88% African with 2 Jamaican-born parents. Wow, really, Shazza? Did you do one of those tests? Yes, yes, and you can't use Google as well, Sharon Morris. You can't use Google. It's a waste of time, really is, because you know the people who run Google. Those people have their own agenda. According to who? Terence. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I mean, you got a lot of I've seen people over here in this country, in Switzerland, running around. They've got like their little Chinese child that they adopted, or their Vietnamese child that they adopted. And I think I told you guys about the story when I was flying back from Turkey, and this guy got onto the bus. He was from the Middle East. I don't know where. He was perhaps even Turkish. He looked Turkish. Now that I look at things, he looked Turkish, and he got on board the bus with 2 children, and these 2 children, I think, were either Vietnamese or they were Thai. And the way this man was looking at this little girl must have been 8 years old. Boy, I can tell you what I did to him, but I don't want YouTube to sort of. Yeah, but it got physical. It got physical. There's no way I couldn't do that. Don Reddick. Too many African Americans claim, with apostrophes, Native American lineage. Yeah, but Africans Ancestry.com found out that it isn't the case. In most cases, they have a test. They discover the greater majority carry European genetics. Guys, I heard this. I heard that on average, the average African American has, is it 30%? This, I'm actually just talking out of my head here. I'm sure I saw this somewhere on the internet, which is a great deal amount, but shouldn't be weird, right? It shouldn't be that strange, but you would have thought that would have been the case more so in Europe, but I wonder why it happened just in the United States. Why did African Americans carry it? I don't understand the ADOS pushback. You know, I don't understand a lot about ADOS. I'm trying to figure it out how you do it, because you have what's this lady's name? Who's the lady that I had a chat about the other day? Is it Yvette? Yvette something. Yvette, I forgot her last name. She's the de facto leader of ADOS, right? Yvette Carnell, that's the one. Yvette Carnell. Okay, so is she the de facto leader? And if so, I mean, she's married to a white lady, right? But I have a lot of ADOS guys coming up to me telling me, "Oh no, yeah, we're very, very selective with who is ADOS and who isn't, and who we call black and who isn't, and you know, you can't just identify." And I scratch my head and I see this lady like married to a white lady, and then she's the leader. I'm so confused. At one point, I wanted to go start studying about ADOS's, you know, mandate, their manifest, what they were planning to do, and I just got so confused. I was like, "No, I'm going to leave it. I can't do it." I couldn't understand it because I was just getting so much, perhaps wrong information from the wrong people about ADOS. I don't know. Most carry the genes of their slave masters, but cover it up by claiming Native American ancestry. Yeah, I don't know how true that is, Don Reddick. I don't know how true that is, but it's not something you would want to boast about, right? In reality, I mean, I'm American and my family was taken from the Akana Sante. Yeah, well, hello. This is kind of crazy. So we kind of talk truth with Shawnee. We could be related because that's pretty much the same. As slaves to Barbados, then Jamaica, and from Jamaica to America as slaves. So there is a lot of Akana Sante that were taken. Well, I didn't know there was so much Asante taken. I didn't know that. I know at one point the British were working with the Asante, right? They were working with the Asante, and the Asante were at war with the Fante. So they're at war. Now, this is what I know about Jamaica. This is why there were so many slave ships that didn't make it to Jamaica, because the Asante were capturing all these prisoners of war and selling them as slaves to the British. So if you can imagine, the British were taking these big virile men thinking, "Oh, this is great. They'll do a lot of good work on the plantation," not knowing that these dudes were bloody warriors. And they were chaining them up, and a lot of them were there was a lot of mutinies on board these ships. So many ships didn't make it. What are you going to do? You're going to tie up like a prisoner of war. You don't know that they're prisoners of war. You just think they're just some black dude who was out in the forest somewhere. And the Asantes kept on taking the Fantes in this way, and eventually I'm going to find out who did it, but one of the ministers of parliament banned the trade in slaves from the Asantes. They had to, because there was it was so much trouble. Even when they were getting to Jamaica, they were breaking free and they were wiping out their captors. So many people, so many families were killed by these Akan warriors. And a lot of those warriors were the ones who founded the maroon towns that still exist in Jamaica until today. Okay, let's have a look. She is probably yet another black lesbian who, Yvette, she's mixed race, right? But identifies as black. Once again, this is so Yeah, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just not cut out for the ADOS. I'd like somebody. Do you know there was a lady in California? I don't know if she's still around. She might be on the live here. There was a lady from California who I was talking to. She's like a straight up ADOS type of woman. You know, she believes in ADOS very strongly, and I was really trying to get her to talk live with me, but she didn't want to do it because I wanted to ask her because she was so cordial, so like well spoken. I thought I don't know many people like her. Most of the ADOS guys that has been speaking to me, they've been shouting or angry or something. I'm like, what's going on? Obviously, they hate me. They hear my British accent and they see my dark skin. They're like, we don't like you. So guys, I can't wait until next week as well. Next week, we're going to have an even better. I'm not even going to tell you the net because I don't really want us to go into the subject, but we're going to have a really good debate next week. I'm really looking forward to that. I have a dumb question. What the hell is an ADOS? ADOS is an American descendant of a slave, Shazza. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, yeah. If you want to join, if you want to join in, join in. She is not mixed race. Her parents were black sharecroppers. Come on, God of Jacob. Come on now, really? Is that true? Because she doesn't look black. I'm sorry. She looks like she has significant amounts of European DNA inside her. Yvette Carnell, she looks significantly mixed race, but I thought she was just straight up mixed race, like half black, half white. That's what I was told by somebody. Maybe I'm wrong. Perhaps talk truth, perhaps. Yvette is their shepherd, they shall not want. But, you know, I think Yvette, in all fairness, she's done a lot for them. She's tried to do her best to keep the movement more mainstream. She knows that if the racists inside the organization, because there are racists inside the ADOS movement, and the the xenophobes, if they get a handle inside the organization, no one's going to take them serious. No one will take them serious as a serious organization, and they'll fall to the wayside, like so many organizations have. And you don't want an organization like that, of course, going after reparations and representing the entirety of the descendant of slave movement, do you? I mean, there are plenty of people out there who are not ADOS, who are ADOS, who are descendants of slave, but they do not want this ADOS organization representing them simply because of the way a lot of them act, which is a crying shame. Black immigrants are upset that ADOS want to separate from all black is black. I don't think that's true, God of Jacob. I don't think that's true. I truly believe that a lot of black immigrants don't care. They have a different way of thinking. They are there to focus on building their families. A lot of them are there to build their own, their own lives and just bugger off to retire back in Nigeria, you know. That is why the anti-immigrant group. Wait a minute. This is the anti-immigrant group chose her. Once again, though, these anti-immigrant groups, that they're not mainstream. No one cares about these people. It's really sad. I know. A lot of people don't want, or perhaps don't want to hear this, but a lot of people are not going to take these movements and these groups serious. They'll only take themselves seriously, but everybody else is going to be like, okay. There are so many militias, so many organizations and groups in America. They're just a drop in the ocean, and unless they get proper representation, the ADOS movement is going to fall to the wayside, But apparently this Yvette, she has a good chance of staying there and doing something better than anybody else, because she wants to try and keep the ADOS movement back on track and not sort of have these people veer it off towards the right with all these other right-wing organizations. As soon as that happens, it is over, guys, because no one will take them serious then. And we'll be back at square one. He said she looked mixed race. Right there, sorry. I just missed what the real issues are in that community. I'm African American as well. My last name is just Creole French. It does. This is really strange. A lot of African Americans don't know who the ADOS movement is. They've never heard of them. That's really strange. Shouldn't be, though. Oh, I remember her. She's only ADOS person. Yeah, able to communicate with. Yes, I think so. The light-skinned lady. She was very nice. We spoke to each other via email, but she just said, listen, I understand that a lot of people are, I think she's actually in this chat somewhere. I'm sure I saw her face. She might be here. She just said she didn't want to get into a shouting match with people. So, and I appreciated that. So they build off the back of ADOS. They hold us from their country and took shelter behind us. Okay, but can I just ask something, God of Jacob? Let me ask you this. What about the Europeans that did that? Why do you always sort of focus on the Africans? I mean, I've seen you write a lot inside this chat group here, but I haven't heard you say one thing about the Europeans yet. You haven't said one thing. All you've been talking about is the Africans. Why is that? I don't know what ADOS is. Yeah. American descendant of slaves. My Nigerian life. It's very strange. So anyway, if you want to join, guys, if you want to have a chat, go ahead. It's your chance. The link is in the chat, so you can join if you wish. Yeah, so I'm just going to read through some of these again. I think a lot of WST of KMT. I want to call you a name, WST of KMT. Give me a name to call you. One of my faves. I think a lot of African Americans don't like to be grouped. I didn't know the term ADOS either until quite recently, and I was raised by a Pan-African father. That's probably the reason why you didn't hear about it. If you're raised by a Pan-African father, I doubt he knew the term either. No, it's a new term, I believe. ADOS is not against other Black African people. Their purpose is to hold on to African American lineage. White Americans want to mix us up into a multicultural, multiracial subgroup in the USA. Yeah, but why do you focus on what the white Americans want you to do? Why should it matter? Why do you use them as your to shape your future? It shouldn't matter. You don't see the Chinese doing that. They don't say, "Oh, do you know what? But the white people are doing this." They don't do that. They're wholly focused on themselves. The Chinese are, to the point in which other races don't matter. They don't matter. They don't care about other races. They don't. They're not racist. Chinese people aren't racist towards other races because you need to care about that race in order to be racist towards them. You have to have a feeling or a thought about them. Chinese don't. They don't have that thing. They're so focused on their own kind that everything else is just exists. So I think we should perhaps even think about being this way. I'm not down with none of these movements. Yeah. Couple of minutes. I will post family photos to show you my background, which I'm very proud of, or still relate to being African. It's a personal choice for everyone. Okay. Martin Luther King used the term in 1967. He used the term ADOS. I'd like to see that. Prince Richmond. Let's have a look. Okay, God of Jacob wants to join, so I'm going to invite him in. Oh, you're gonna have to turn your cam on, man.
What's going on, brother? I'm gonna be up here for a few minutes. I got something to do. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, sir. Are you in the army, or are you in some sort of militia? You look like you're from
The
your
Navy,
avatar.
Navy.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
All right.
But, yeah. What have you got to say? I mean, there's a lot of people who are on here just confused about the ADOS movement. They're just confused because they're getting different vibes from different people. A lot of hate coming from. I mean, I got the butt end of a lot of hate as well at some point. But you know, a lot of people don't understand what they are trying to do and whether they actually have an end game. What is their end game? Can you explain that?
I can explain to the best of my ability, brother. ADOS was created pretty much to address the wealth gap in America, and it wants to target a specific people, a lineage. We built this country, and we suffer. We don't get the breaks that we should have for building this country. Whereas you would have other immigrant groups, and not just the black ones, Italians, whoever, they come over here and benefit from our blood, sweat, and tears. We have blood equity in this land, right?
Of
And
course.
it's time that we should start looking out for ourselves. Because again, a Nigerian can be a Nigerian, a Ghanaian can be a Ghanaian, a Puerto Rican could be a Puerto Rican. But when we self-identify ourselves, we're divisive, xenophobic, with this and that. When we want to reclaim what our ancestors fought for, we are xenophobic. We are this, that, and the third. You have to make that make sense to me. We have, and Black Americans, ADOS, have been the most, welcoming group to Black immigrants for the longest time. But it's a time and point where we have to be selfish. We have to be selfish for once. For once, we have to be selfish to address the wealth gap. And reparations is the heartbeat of this movie. And reparations is not about just the check. It's about other things. But the pushback, or people who push back against ADOS, will always use the check thing. Y'all ain't gonna get no check. But reparations, if you listen to us and the movement, if you'd attended the conference like I did, you would understand that reparations comes in many forms. but most people focus on the check aspect. We don't hate immigrants. We just love ourselves. And it's time for us to be selfish for 1 second.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think that we, I mean, I'm also a descendant of slave, even though I'm not from the United States. Do you think that we, as descendants of slaves, have the capacity to handle, to manage that type of mandate, to actually take that money or those reparations, whatever they may be, and use them in a way to better the lives of everybody equally in, as ADOS Americans, all ADOS Americans? Do you think you can do that? Or, because money
I
does a
get what
lot
you're
of
saying. I
things
get
to
what you're
people.
saying, brother. I
Yeah.
agree. And we just got to call it like it is. Some of us ain't ready for that kind of money because we're blow it. You give somebody who has never dealt with real money, and you give them that
Yeah.
money and it's gone. And that's
Mm,
something that's being addressed. And that's some of the chapters that's starting up. I just left one in Texas where they started one up, and it's all about financial responsibility. See, a lot of people think they haven't heard of ADOS, and I'm glad about that. I'm glad. I want us to kind of go under the radar while we build what we need to build, uh,
mm-hmm.
kind of covertly in a sense. But no, right now, the Caribbean descendant of slavery and the American descendant of slavery is not ready to handle that volume of money. Reparations is not what we're really the check part is not our focal point. I'm good. I'm already good, brother. I'm living my life. I do well. I own my own business. I'm comfortable. But as a collective group, we're not doing so well, and that's the bottom line. When I attended the conference in a couple years ago, a year and a half ago,
Mm,
our one of our major speakers
mm.
was a Jamaican woman. So
Oh,
we acknowledge the Caribbean slavery, but we're focused on ours. To focus on ours doesn't mean we don't understand and appreciate your struggle. But it is
mm,
time for us to focus on us for a season. Can we have a
mm.
season to look out for ourselves?
And you know what? I don't think it's wrong to actually be able to. I mean, because I think we have our own reparations organization as well in the Caribbean and in Europe, in the
CARICOM
UK.
is
Yeah,
CARICOM.
yeah, that's them. So, yeah, so they are focused. But I don't see them. I don't see them getting angry towards Africans or towards African Americans or anything. But I see that a lot coming from a lot of the guys within the ADOS movement, a lot of vitriol sometimes towards other black ethnicities and nationalities. And I just wonder why that is the case. You know, where does this anger come from, and why isn't it being directed at sort of the real enemy? Hope you're still there, God of Jacob.
We have no anger, brother. The
Mm,
anger stem from the pushback from black so-called people.
mm-hmm,
We don't catch pushback from other groups. Now I'll tell you where it stemmed off from when Yvette Carnell posted a video entitled Pan Africanism or whatever y'all call that thing is dead. That's when the smoke started coming towards our way. So eventually we black people, you give us smoke, we giving it right back. We're going to tell you that you ran from your country. We're going to tell you
mm,
that everything you do is because of us. We're going to give you that smoke right back. That's just
mm,
the nature of it is. We are a passionate people, and that's how we get down sometimes. But that message or that video that she put out to me sparked it all. What
mm,
our vitriol or the rough talk with regard to ADOS has kind of simmered down. We don't really focus on this, that, and the third so much so like we
mm,
used to when she came out. But on the other hand, you have I think it's Tariq Nasheed, FBA. He's the one giving y'all that smoke constantly. We want to do things politically, whereas the
mm,
other smoke or the other language that y'all think is hateful, that's coming from what they call, I guess themselves FBA or Foundational Black Americans, or whatever that thing is called. But
Yeah.
we always want to remain politically with our movement. We have to
Mm.
engage in politics to kind of push our agenda. Reparations may not never happen in our lifetime, but we are a people, a lineage of this people who fight. We might not ever get to see it. It might not ever happen.
Hmm.
You know, and people will give us the na. But I'll tell you one thing: what has Pan African done for us? Nothing. It doesn't address anything. It's an ideology that pretty much quotes the works of dead men, and we ain't got
Hmm.
time to do that no more. We either got
Hmm.
to fight because that's in our spirit, and that's the way. That's all we know how to do.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay. Does that
But
answer
brother,
any?
hey, I can't stay on too long. I just wanted to jump on here because I
Okay,
see you extended the link,
okay,
and
okay, okay. Well,
yeah, it
well,
was just for a
well,
few minutes. But I do check
well.
you out sometimes. I like you on some stuff.
Well, thank you, and that's well appreciated, actually. Yeah, it's a divisive. You know, I don't know why it's so divisive. To be honest with you, we should be able to talk about
Before
this
I
in
go,
a.
you have to tell me. We have to come back on later, but quickly, can you tell me what's divisive about it?
Well, I think a lot of people, a lot of people don't mind you going after the reparations, but I think a lot of people are struggling with the vitriol side of fighting against um, continental Africans and essentially calling them out for being the ones that sold us into slavery. I think a
That's a
lot of
whole nother
people struggle.
conversation.
It is a whole other conversation, but yeah, I think a lot of people
One
struggle
thing
with
you're gonna
that.
have to know, brother. Hold on, let me interrupt
Oh God, no, 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 no. Where are you? Sorry,
you.
are
Oh,
you
my
there,
bad.
mate? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm about to go right quick. But one thing you have to understand with ADOS and the movement, the hashtag, the movement, uh,
Mm,
we deal heavily with data, brother, data and resources and this. Now, when we say Africans sold us into slavery, you best believe
mhm.
we are going to be able to back that up. Okay, that's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. I see
Okay.
Roz in there. What's going on, Roz? Hey, I gotta go.
Mhm.
I gotta go.
Okay.
I
Okay.
got
Okay.
stuff to do. But I know
Thanks for
Roz from
joining
other
us.
panels. Good to see you.
Well,
Yeah, I gotta go.
thanks for joining
Yep.
us. Take care. Bye. 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 Okay. So, actually, it was very nice to speak to him. Because to be honest with you, I've been steering away from all the ADOS crowd simply because I don't know. I haven't had anybody approach me and just with and started an intelligent conversation. There's been no point really. So it's very good to speak to I think he's a general. You look like a general, isn't it? So yeah. Anybody else want to come in? Those dead men knew a lot more than some of these yahoos are speaking today. That is very true. It's really important, actually. These guys who we learn from the past, because they were in a similar situation. We can't forget about what they have done, right? ADOS will never see reparations in any form. So when will they stop spinning their wheels, spewing hatred and aggressiveness towards other AAs? Yeah, yeah. I mean, he said it doesn't happen, but I mean, it clearly does. I mean, or else we would have had this conversation a long time ago. A long time ago. Well, good to hear from him. It is. It was good to hear from him. Um, they were the ones who led us out of the struggle. They they were. They were. But don't you think that they are somehow being hijacked? You know, you got assets in the CIA and the FBI. You know what they used to do. They used to just send in people that would just come in and just destroy organizations from the inside out. Agents. That's what everyone calls me. Everyone calls me an agent. Don't know why. But yeah. Check out the Uru movement. They are doing great things. I will check them out, Samumba. Good to see you here, by the way. For that particular struggle. Yeah, we have a new struggle with ourselves. Yeah, come on. I believe that we are in a situation now. We are in a situation where we are literally fighting not just against our against our oppressors, but against ourselves. We're literally oppressing ourselves, and I think that's crazy. I'm going to bring Samumba into the chat room. Samumba Sabukwe. I'll tell you something. We had a good live session the other day with Samumba, former BLM organizer from New York. Add into the stream. How are you, Samumba? How are you?
I'm good. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you loud and clear. You look cool, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I got my Senegal. What are they? Something? Yeah. I'm a big soccer fan. I never told you.
No,
African soccer.
That is nice. That is nice. Is that your favorite team then from Africa? Like,
Yeah, thus far, but since I found out that I'm of Cameroonian descent, part Cameroonian descent, I have to support them. But Senegal is where I thought it was from originally, so Senegambia.
Yeah.
But they're the best team in Africa, I think, so far.
Okay. Yeah. How is it? It looks warm over there.
Man, I tell you, but right now it's very nice. Any New Yorkers, go outside and enjoy the weather because we're in the 50s right now. I'm right down here in Astor Place, working, taking a little break, and then I'm going to the gym. So,
okay, cool.
I saw it's an FBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, they're saying, that Africans, so there are some Africans that sold us into slavery and that were enslaved themselves, and they were divisive. So what is calling yourself a foundational American, a Black American, or African, or what is it, descendant of slavery, American descendant of slavery, that's divisive as well. Malcolm, Marcus, Dr. Clark, Dr. Diop, they talk better than this. They laid the foundation. Now, the only thing that I will agree with is that, they are no longer here with us, but they laid down the foundation to bring us together. And I think that we could use their teachings, but we have to incorporate it in today. And the work that you're doing, brother, is exposing what we need in terms of transparency, in terms of accountability. You can't just put up the black fist and say you're African and raise the flag and all this stuff if we can't be accountable to one another and transparent with one another. That's the problem with Africa and African leaders right now. We have this whole thing about, because we have Black people in charge, seemingly in charge, that everything is copacetic and this is Black power. But if it's not really benefiting the mass of our people, what's the use? And also, we're not going to get reparations through the way that they're doing it. SBA or ADOS, we're not. You can put on the MAGA hat and all this. They're not going to give it to us. They don't care. They are trying to suppress the Black vote right now. Everything that Trump is attacking is from Black votes. Black people voted 90% against Trump. They're trying to take all those votes away. That's the only reason that he's trying to hold out right now. So what is it that we don't understand? We are African people born in different places. That's it. We have some admixtures of people, but together, Africans in Britain, Africans in Zurich, Africans in New York City could send their resources to bring their resources to Africa to help Africans, and we can learn about the culture and the family and other resources from Africa. We can bring all that together and really liberate our people no matter where we are. So I consider myself more than a Pan-African. I consider myself more of an African internationalist. Which means wherever African and Black people are, we are still part of one nation. Maybe many tribes, but still one nation. And I think we have to be very, very clear of that. I'm not against people in ADOS or FBA, but the identification of who we are is a problem. How are we benefiting ourselves by separating ourselves? And let's get a little bit of reparations here, and let's get a little bit of reparations there. It doesn't make any sense. And unfortunately, we live in a social media age where people use memes and they go on social media and they go on YouTube rather than actually reading a book. And our teachers have taught us better than this, Marcus. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Malcolm, they taught us better than this. So anyway, if you really break it down and look at it and you go back to the Gambia, a lot of these people are also profiting. Because when you create your own sect and you create your own movement and stuff like that, and then you go on YouTube, you are, really just trying to raise money. So no diss to ADOS, but like, what have they really done in the community? They
Yeah,
really a
but
social media entity. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I guess you could say that a lot of people would argue that, let's say, they do win some form of reparations, and that can be used as a precedent for other oppressed communities who had to struggle through the same thing, like the descendants of slaves in the United Kingdom or in Jamaica. We could then use that for our reparations too. So
Right.
it should
Well,
we not
HR.
be?
Oh yeah, but HR 40 is dead on arrival in America. Like neither party, Democrats or Republicans, are gonna pass it. It's dead on arrival, no matter who is the president, and no matter who's the president or who's in charge. Oh, just a quick response. What tangibles have Pan Africanism produced? The tangibles is that they have produced an understanding of who we are as African people. What has ADOS produced? What has the Israelites produced? Besides their own sex and their own understanding. So, but anyway, if we were to get reparations, and it wouldn't be led by ADOS. On top of that, there's been several organizations in Cobra, the Yoruba movement, Queen Mother Moore, others that have started the process, even John Conyers, to get HR 40 passed, but it's not going to be passed. It's dead on arrival. I mean, hell, we're just trying to keep our health care, so-called Obamacare right now. So what are these people, talking about? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't do this to be divisive or anything else, but like we're separating ourselves into these tribes of Israel, into these ADOS, into the FBA, rather than saying, I'm an African and my ancestry is Bioko Island in Cameroon. That's mine, but I'm still an African. We belong to the African nation, so I can bring tangibles from New York City or from Zurich to Africa and vice versa, and take those. That seems the way that we can move forward to share these resources, share the understanding. But we can't just do it just by saying, making accusations, against other Africans or trying to separate ourselves from other Africans. But like I say, I think that the reparations is dead on arrival. As long as McConnell's in there, as long as we have our current political situation. So let's just be real. That's
What
all
if
I'm
you have a
saying.
black president now?
What kind of black president? No, I'm not really a fan of Harris or Biden, but I am a pragmatic person, and that we still need some of the basics: housing, healthcare, all the rest of that. We'd have to have a certain type of black president that I don't think, unfortunately, in our lifetime that we'll see. But we also have a certain type of understanding that black people need to have in this country, and we need more white people to have an understanding. We're still 20% tops of the population here. And our problem is, it's not just white people and colonialism that's the problem. You got Cubans, you got Venezuelans, you got other races that identify with white supremacy and U.S. imperialism that are also problematic. But anyway, this guy, God of Jacob, his people, is continually whatever. So anyway, if we don't have an understanding of our history and our culture and things that we can do to move forward, we won't move forward as a people. What has ADOS have created? They've added to the reparations argument. That's what they've done. But we're not going to be able to get anything done in this present Congress. And I don't think the next Congress. What we have to do as organizers, as people on the ground, is educate our people more. But we also have to kind of reach across and find other allies, whether so-called Latino, indigenous people, progressive white people, which I do think that exists, in order to do that. So, but reparations, unfortunately, is dead on arrival. We can't even get coronavirus assistance in a lot of places. We can't even get freaking masks in some places. We still have this virus
I didn't know
to
that.
go on. So yeah. So anyway,
You
so
didn't
people
know
that are
that.
commenting, and you got some good subscribers in there, because they're right on point. They know what they're talking
Yeah,
about. And
yeah,
what you
yeah.
keep telling you, you're doing great things because
It's a
accountability and
good mix.
transparency.
Thank you very much. It's a
Yeah,
good mix.
yeah.
You're not leaving us yet, are you?
No, no, I'm cool. I'm cool. I can talk more.
Okay,
I think I'm
cool,
talking
cool,
too
cool.
much.
Do you know the conversation, the actual subject that we were talking about was um, uh, uh, black children being adopted by two white parents. That was the conversation. What's your thoughts on that? I'd like to hear what your
Ooh. On the one hand, of course, I would hope that there would be two black parents that could do that. But we do have a
Mhm.
problem in our community, and we do have a lot of children that are not raised by that, where there aren't black parents available. So if this white couple or whatever is doing their best to make sure that that black child is learning his culture and his heritage, and there's no other black parents available, what do we? We'd rather he be in foster care and then, be abused that way. So on that hand, where there aren't, I think what we need to do is see if we can produce more black parents and more black awareness for black parents and mentors and stuff to step into these children's lives. So I mean, yeah. So I'm a pragmatic person. I'm a person that's worked with homeless and worked with foster kids. I've never raised in a foster home. Thankfully, I had black parents and black mom and an extended family. But I think what we have to do as a people is extend the village. Really work on our familial relationships. We got problems in our own family that we need to deal with. So, if there's no other black families that are available and there's a lack of black parents available and mentors, I'm not against it, but I am against when these white parents try to whitewash or they don't really place the black children into a cultural context where they can understand and grow as black children. So if there's other black parents available, I'd rather them be with some parents that care about them versus in a foster home. You know,
hmm
that's a
So
long and short.
yeah. Okay, well that's a very good point. Very good point. What about? Let me just ask you this. What about the like parents of the same sex? Um,
Oh, yeah. That's a whole nother. If
is it?
if there's no two parents of that aren't black, and if there's only gay parents, and if they're raising their child with the same thing that I just mentioned, that child to know their value and their heritage and stuff like that, I'm not against that either. But damn, I mean,
Okay,
what's
that's
going
really
on?
cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was
That's
I
really
was
cool.
born
I
and
wasn't
raised. I was
expecting
born
that.
in San Francisco, so I was in Harvey Milk. I don't know, one of the first gay congressmen, council people or whatever in San Francisco got shot. So I was raised with a different kind of understanding and mentality. And I think I told you that I've also worked with this group called ACT UP, which is an LGBT kind of led organization. But they are the ones
hmm
that fought for AIDS funding and stuff like that. So I'm kind of a more
Wow.
open minded when it comes to that. But ideally, we would want to really increase black parents being there and black mentors and extended family being there for our children. So as long as these
Okay.
children are raised right, that's fine. But like this shit, who's the lady, the actress from South Africa, and she had two black children, boys, and then they're dressing up as girls now. Now that's a whole other conversation. Charisse Theron, I think. Yeah, so I think that's a
Uh,
discussion we might need to have. Yeah, and that kind of goes back
yeah.
to like Dwayne Wade and stuff like that. And yeah, so there's a lot to
Yeah.
talk about.
Dwayne Wade did the same thing with his wife. What's his wife's name?
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of these um,
weird, Holly
terms,
Weird. I know.
these new terms that we
Yeah,
have to deal with today, like pansexual, all that sort of thing.
right. I think it's
That.
LGBTQA or something, whatever. So I mean, at 12, less than that, do you really know what you want to be? But you know what we need? But again, we can only control what we control. We need to show, we need as adults in relationships and even outside of relationships, we need to model behavior for our children so they can see what, healthy relationships are. Because at the end of the day, the LGBTQ community is still the minority in every community. But what are we doing and what are we showing in terms of positive, healthy relationships to our children? How are we as men treating our women? How is our women treating our men? So when we always looking at LGBTQ people or other relationships, we need to look at the relationships that we are modeling for our children. So everything like in life comes back to us first before we can talk about anything else. So I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to those issues. But I think at the end of the day, we have to really look at the village. And if the village is sick, the village will produce sick children. You know, and I don't know if you're a subscriber from Willie D. Willie D is a rapper from the Ghetto Boy. He's on he's on YouTube. But he's been talking about a lot of stuff with going on with the black family and just black youth and stuff like that. And it's really unfortunate, what's happening in our communities in America and throughout the world. So,
What's the answer?
you know, the answer is, I think, we need a
let me
code of
just,
ethics,
yeah.
a universal code of ethics, a revolution in terms of values. Like if we're black, if you're, I'll never forget. Look, I know I'm talking a lot, folks, so just bear with me. I'll never forget that I was doing a delivery over in, let's just say the Lower East Side, and this big complex, and I'll never forget there was two Africans there doing deliveries as well. One was doing a delivery, and there was another African guy that was stealing the other guy's. And this guy had a whole bunch of like bags that he was doing delivery bags. He didn't lock his bike up, unfortunately. And the other African guy is like running away with his bike. And I'm thinking to myself, here you have one African guy trying to work, and this other African guy is stealing his bike. And I think to myself, these guys may even be from the same country, but we don't, other races don't, I don't want to say other races, because, everybody steals and stuff like that. But we need to have a code of ethics where this thing doesn't happen. Like in Japan, you can leave your money running and nobody will touch it. So when we're born, we need to be born into like a community, and we need an educational system that says we don't steal from one another, we don't kill one another, we respect each other. And it's hard because we're not like from all the same exact place. You don't tell an Italian and a Portuguese person, they don't see, like they're one race or one ethnicity. But the difference is, as African people, we've been exploited by the Arabs, by the Europeans, and now increasingly by the Chinese. And we don't realize everything that we have in our own communities, in our own countries. If we could bring these things together, then we could be very powerful. What Congo has could be given to Nigeria if they work together, Nigeria and vice versa. And we would transform the whole world. So I think what I need is, the long and short answer is, we need we need to be in control of our educational system to shape the views and values and create critical thinking with our young people. That's one of the issues with Black Lives Matter. We need to talk about Black Power Matters. And what does that mean? That means that we need to have control of our schools. We need to have control of our institutions. And we need to have kind of, I don't want to say a bunker mentality, but like a mentality, a village mentality that produces these values and produces unity. One of the thoughts that I have is that why don't these millionaires and these athletes start creating community centers where basketball is played, where football is played, where baseball is played, other sports are played. But in order for you to be part of these leagues and stuff like that, you have to learn African history. You have to learn relationship history. You have to learn what healthy relationships are. You have to learn relationship literacy, financial literacy, codes, morals, and values. And I don't think that's one of the problems. We keep fighting in America for equality versus for power. Malcolm X once said, "Why are we trying to be equal with them? Who are they to be equal with?" And I think that's one of the things that we need to get to: community control of schools, which we tried and we was largely successful right here in Brooklyn. Community control of schools, which means we control the curriculum, we control the hiring and firing of teachers. We make sure that parents and the community is involved in school board meetings and stuff like that. So I think that's education is very important. And I'm not just talking about the three arts. I'm talking about how we treat each other, how we respect each other. Teaching these young men also how to control their aggression, how to channel it. Teaching young women how to control their hormones, young women and men, control their hormones, and you don't have to act upon an impulse. You don't have to act upon your anger. You don't have to act upon negativity that you may have in your family. So we got a lot of things within our own community, our own families that need addressing. And I think one of the main issues that we have in our community is the emotional abuse that we give to one another, from mother and father to the child. We need to talk about that abuse. We talk a lot about sexual abuse. We talk a lot about physical abuse, but we need to talk about the emotional abuse, telling you that you're not good enough. You're just like your mom. You're just like your dad. We got little issues. So I think what African people have to do, start first and foremost, look at the relationship you have with your own family. Are you sending them Facebook messages versus giving them a phone call? Because far too often we get together for the family reunions are now when there's funerals. And I know that there's COVID and stuff like that we can't get to, we can't, always be together at this point. But we shouldn't just be coming together when there's a funeral. So we got to look at ourselves first and then look at our community and refocus and restir our young men and women, because we have to create a whole new generation of Black people, African people worldwide.
Okay.
Black people, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about the Japanese earlier. It's not an easy thing to do. It's a cultural thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
After the bomb went off in Hiroshima, the trains were still running on time from
Right.
Hiroshima. The trains still ran. The people that were queuing up for food, they just queued up for food. But there was no chaos. And that was all down to their upbringing. They had very strict upbringing. So do you think that's what we need to do? Like, our children a bit more stricter?
Yes, definitely. What does culture mean? Culture broken down means cultivated behavior. So it has to start and then we have to be really, I don't want to say strict on our children, because we want them to develop their own critical thinking skills. But there's some things that we do and that we don't. And we have to teach our children peace and to resolve matters in peaceful, constructive ways. A lot of young people have a lot of aggression. They have a lot of anger. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's human. How do we transform this into positive, creative energy? How do we transform this eventually into John Coltrane's and Jimi Hendrix and Kwame Nkrumah's and other, Queen Nzinga's? How do we transform this? So yeah, we have too much. It's too lax of an attitude for a lot of our Black parents. And in America, you was here for a few years. If you look at why are our Black parents, there should be more emphasis of our Black parents sending their black boys to HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, which I attended Southern University. And why that would be a resource that would bring resources to our community. But a lot of our parents, will send their young children to their boys and girls to these big white universities um, that's not really going to be beneficial towards them. So there's just a lot that we have to do. I'm seeing some of the comments, all of these comments about, different countries in Africa and stuff like that. A lot of these terms that were created by Europeans. Even Cameroon is a French word for shrimp. So it's like I'm speaking on this because I'm seeing the comments on the side here. But we may be from different tribes, but we represent one nation at the end of the day. Many tribes, one nation, and that's really how we have to be. So yes, brother, it has to start at home with the parents, but we need more parents that have more of an African-centered mentality, and we don't have enough. I was fortunate enough to be brought up. I was born in '68, so I'm like more of a Black Panther child, Marcus Garvey by an extension. So I was raised with this mentality, and then I went to an HBCU. But we don't have enough of our young Black boys and girls that are raised like that. We're still, for some reason, in this gangster OG era, and we're still, and now we're in the social media era, and it's like we don't have enough of this African centering in the thought of the majority of our people, and now we're breaking off into these other divisive tribes like Israel, like ADOS, like FBA, when we would be stronger if we realize and reached our hands across the diaspora and realize that we're all part of one. We've been exploited in so many ways by so many different people. That alone should bring us together. And it doesn't matter if you're Muslim or Christian or atheist. At the end of the day, as Malcolm X said, you're still a black person. You're still an African
If
born
it,
in America or born other ways. Yeah.
so the fragmentation of black society in America, you think that's also to blame for the poor performance when it has come to trying to get some form of reparations, because there's no strength in disunity, right? I'm guessing you're saying that we would be in a much better, stronger situation if there was some sort of unification of all these groups and of all these people. But
Yes, we
in
had
these
that in a
smaller
way, but
groups,
yeah, these smaller groups just separated off even more. But even if we had 100% unity on this, or even 70, 80%, at the end of the day, the way the current system is set up, uh, it would still be very hard to get reparations. Because white people, a lot of white people, those in power believe that welfare is reparations, or the fact that you have some housing projects are reparations. They don't understand, and a lot of our people don't understand that it was our labor that built this country. That what they did and they gave reparations to Jewish people, they gave reparations to to who were the other people they gave reparations? Jewish people, Japanese people, and others. So, we have a legit claim. I live in New York City. The second largest slave port in America, in North America, is New York. It's New York City, right down there on Wall Street. They have this thing called I think it was the Buttonwood Agreement, which basically turned into slave owners and planters made this agreement about slavery and the profits of slavery that turned into the New York City stock exchange. But people don't realize we have this history right here in this city of slavery, and that built the big banks. The too big to jail. I call them too big to jail banks. And that we worked for 246 years, I think, free laborers, that we deserve reparations. But like the majority of the country doesn't agree with that. So that's
guys,
even more unity. It would be very hard still to get reparations. We'll see it as ancestors looking down, but I'm not sure we'll see it in our lifetime.
yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to cut it off here.
No problem.
I'm having a technical difficulty. I'm literally trying to
Okay.
charge this thing and it's not charging up.
Oh man, you sound like Weasley now, man. Get the charger
It's
together, bro.
I'm literally on 1% battery at this
Oh,
moment, and it's
okay.
not charging
Let
up.
me.
So I'm gonna have to.
Oh, okay. No
I'm
worries.
gonna.
Okay. So we'll
Wait,
take
give
up
us
another. I love
give
everybody
me.
watching. Thank you, brother, for what you're doing, and we'll talk soon.
No,
Okay.
yeah, bro.
We got to do a part two as well.
Absolutely. We're going to do a part two.
Okay.
We can do it on the weekend.
Okay.
Let's do it on the weekend. Let's
We'll
have a chat tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk. Look for me on
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
yeah. We'll do.
Okay. All
Okay,
right,
have
brother.
a good one. And
You too,
stay
brother.
safe.
We'll talk. You too, and we'll talk soon, brother. All right. Peace.
Take care. Guys. I think I have a problem with my equipment. It's not charging for some bloody reason. So I'm gonna actually cut it short here, only by 10 minutes, guys. I wish I could speak for a little longer. So guys, I know we came a bit off the subject there, right? But yeah, it was good to hear your opinions on this. I think we're going to have a completely different day. Tomorrow let's go live again. Let's talk ADOS. Let's go in to ADOS. Which one is better? Which movement is going to be perhaps stand a better chance of being successful? ADOS, the ADOS movement, or the Pan-African movement? You know how I feel. I feel that unity, there is strength, of course. So, I think that we should have a proper conversation about this tomorrow, but I'm kind of running out of time and I'm running out of battery, unfortunately. and this charge is not working. So before it dies, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys and say thank you for joining me once again. Guys, really like this. I love to being able to interact with you guys. Next time, I want more of you guys actually joining the video chat. Just come in, click the link, come in, have a chat with us, okay? So we're going to do that tomorrow, okay? We're going to do it tomorrow, and we're going to have a bit more fun. I'm really sorry about this. I'm really sorry about this, but yeah, I will try and make sure that this thing is fully charged up tomorrow. ADOS must be simple. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna have a good talk about this tomorrow. I'm sorry that we have to cut this short, but it'd be much better if we really get to grips with it and have a whole conversation about this ADOS, Pan-African, ADOS versus Pan-Africanism. I want to know which one's best for us. So join me tomorrow. I'm going to go a little earlier. I'm going to go on a little earlier, okay? A little earlier in like sort of midday, sort of Eastern time or something like that, to make sure that you guys are up. And yeah, okay. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much. And I will see you in the next one, okay? Posting a video tomorrow, by the way, guys. I'm doing an analysis of the interview I had on radio 2 days ago. So should be fun, okay? So keep an eye open for it. All right? Take care. Goodbye. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.